say it was this morning when you last saw your good friend lying on the pavement with a misery on his brain. Stoned on some new potion that he found upon the wall of some unholy bathroom in some ungodly hall. He only had $1 to live on till next Monday, but he spent it all on comfort for his mind. Did you say you think he's blind? Someone should call his parents, a sister or a brother, and they'll come and take him back home on a bus. He'll always be a problem to his poor puzzled mother, but he'll always be another one of us. He said he wanted heaven, but praying was too slow, so he bought a one-way ticket on an airline made of snow. Did you say you saw your good friend flying low, dying slow, flying low? And dying slow, flying low. Dying slow, flying low. Did you say you saw your good friend flying low, dying slow, flying low? Hey, how you doing out there, Guitar Heroes? All right, we got a little Steppenwolf today from 1970. A tune they covered from Hoyt, Axton. It's called Snowblind Friend, and you can probably guess what the subject matter is. And we've got a fairly simple tune here. Both the Steppenwolf and the Hoyt Axton have kind of a fancy picking pattern, and we're really not going to be worrying about that. We're going to stick with the original key, which for Steppenwolf was an A. We got a D. We got a B, and we got an E. And those are our 4 chords that we have for the tune. So the beginning, we're just going to do just a little bit of kind of generic picking with a and a D. So I'm going to hit that bass note and then a couple of, and then the D, hit the bass note on the D string, back to the A. Or you can just strum through it. A, D, A, D. And then we're going to get started in the first verse. There's actually 3 verses, but there's really 2. And then the third verse is actually a combination of the first 2 verses. So you say A was this morning, D when you A. Last saw your good friend. Now we have our fun B chord, A form, and bar on the 2nd fret. D, lying on the pavement with the misery on his brain. E, A, stone from some new deep ocean he found upon, back to the B again, the wall. D, of some unholy bathroom in some ungodly hall. E, back to an A. He only had $1 to live on till next Monday, but he D spent it all on comfort for his mind. E. Did you say you think that he is blind? A, D, A, D, A, D. And then we're going to go into the second verse, and same pattern except we have different words. Then we repeat the first 4 lines of the first verse, and then the last 2 lines of the second verse, and then we go into this last part, and it starts on the last line of the second verse. So rather than, did you say, D, you think he's blind, A, D, instead of that, we're going to have, did you say your good friend flying low, A, D, dying slow, A, D, flying low, A, D, A, D, and then it would go back into this combination of verse of the first 2, and then we end up on continuing that pattern, D, dying slow, A, D, flying low, A, back to D. Did you say you saw your good friend flying low, A, D, dying slow, D, flying low, D, A, D, A, D. And then we end on an A chord. Okay, well, we've got a fairly slow pace. You know, the tricky part here, of course, is the B chord. That's probably the trickiest part. And of course, there is one option, and that is to use G chords instead, and then use the capo on the second fret. So instead of an A, we drop that down to a G. Instead of a D, we drop that down to a C. And a B would go down to an A. And then E, of course, would go to a D. So you can avoid that B bar chord by playing in G, capo 2, if you want to stay in the same key as Steppenwolf. And I think Hoyt Axton was higher yet. I think he was in the key of E, so he'd be up a little bit further on the fretboard. This felt about right for my voice, so that's why I kind of kept it here. Okay, so what do we got as far as a speed pattern if we're going to strum through this? And it was this morning I saw your old friend lying on the pavement with the misery on his brain, stoned on some new potion that he found upon the wall of some unholy bathroom in some ungodly hall. Only had $1 to live on till next morning. Spent it all on comfort for his mind. Did you say you think he's blind? A-D, A-D, A-D. So, not too bad of a tune from a speed perspective, not complicated because of the chords. Like I said, if you don't like the B chord, use the key of G chords and just drop them down one. So, okay, so if you feel uncomfortable with this, what does this amount to? Okay, if I'm at an A, I'm going to go to the low E string. If I'm at an A and I drop down 2, I'm at a G chord. Okay, easy enough to figure it out. Okay, now we go to a D, and the D is at the 10th fret. And I take a D down 2, and it's a C. And if I got a B is at the 7th fret, and I take that down 2, I'm at an A. And then the E, we'd be way up here, because otherwise we're open, right? Down 2 is a D. So if you haven't quite got that part, that's where you need to be eventually, is to be able to figure out how you can transpose. This one's pretty easy because you're just going to lower every one of the chords by 2 steps. So again, A goes to a G, D goes to a C, B goes to an A, and an E goes to a D. So you could use those capo too if you want to stay in the same key. It doesn't really matter, but that's where Steppenwolf was, in the key of A. All right, well, I hope you got something out of this lesson. It's Snowblind Friend by Steppenwolf, written by Hoyt Axton, Steppenwolf's tune 1970. Hope you got something out of this lesson. Take it easy out there, and we'll see you next time.